Hi dear students, last time we began to discuss the poem The Mirror. The mirror introduced himself and the mirror said that it is exact and accurate. It gives the exact pictures. Mirror also says that he is an impartial judge, and then he talks about his relationship with the opposite wall. Now in the coming lines he says, "Now I'm a lake, a woman bends over me, searching my reaches for what she really is. Then she turns to those liars, the candles or the moon. I see her back and reflect it faithfully. She rewards me with tears and an agitation of hands." So now the mirror compares itself to a lake, another metaphor for the mirror. The first metaphor we saw was the eye of a little god. The mirror calls itself the eye of a little god. Now in this line, now I'm a lake. A woman bends over me. Searching my reaches for what she really is. Then she turns to those liars. The candles of the moon. I see her back and reflect it faithfully. She rewards me with tears and an agitation of hands. And agitation of hands. Sorry, the mirror says I'm a lake. The mirror compares itself to a lake. Now the question rises, why the mirror compares itself to a lake? The reason is simple, because the lake has got depths. And in the depths of the lake you can have lost something. You can't lose something in the mirror, can you? But you can for sure lose something in the depths of the lake. And there is someone in this poem who has lost her beauty, her youth, in the lake of the mirror. That's why the mirror compares itself to a lake, because the lake has got depths, and in the depths of the lake you can have lost something. So then the mirror says, I'm a lake, and then a woman bends over me. As you would bend over a lake to look through the water to find something that you have just dropped in, the woman is bending over the lake. In reality, she's bending over the mirror. She's bending over the lake, or let's say she's bending over the mirror, searching my reaches for what she really is. The woman is searching the depths of the lake of the mirror to figure out what she really is, to figure out how old she is, to figure out how wrinkled she has become, to figure out how much of her beauty she has lost, to figure out how many wrinkles she's got. She's looking for her lost beauty in the depths of the mirror. Then she turns to those liars, the candles of the moon. The candle and the moon, they are called liars because in the candlelight or the moonlight you can't see your reflection properly, and because you cannot see your reflection properly, you can deceive yourself into believing that you're beautiful enough, which is not true. The candles cannot show you all your wrinkles. The moonlight cannot show you your wrinkles, can they? They can't reflect you properly. And this woman actually, she deceives herself into believing that she has not lost much of her beauty. She deceives herself into believing that she is not that old after all, by looking herself in the mirror in the candlelight or the moonlight. But what? The candle and the moon are liars. They do not reflect her properly. They do not tell her the truth. The mirror says, I see her back and reflect it faithfully. But the mirror is relentless in telling the truth. The mirror is not going to listen to anyone. The mirror doesn't allow anyone to be deceived. The mirror reflects her again and reflects her faithfully, honestly, exactly as she is. The mirror does not afford to decrease the ugliness of her face now. Let me say this funnily, the mirror does not lessen the number of the wrinkles on her face. Whatever is there, he reflects. But then what is the result? She rewards me with tears and an agitation of hands. The woman starts crying because she has lost all her beauty. When she sees her truth in the mirror, when she sees that she's really ugly and wrinkled and old and she's aging and she can't control it and she's no more young, she's no more beautiful, then she starts crying and an agitation of hands, and she makes awkward movement with her. She's agitated, she's troubled, she can't stand the truth that she's ugly now, she's lost her beauty, that she's no more beautiful. She can't bear the truth. That's her problem. Then in the coming lines, let's see what it says. I'm important to her. She comes and goes. The mirror says, I'm important to that woman, and she comes and goes. Each morning it is her face that replaces the darkness. In me she has drowned a young girl, and in me an old woman rises toward her day after day like a terrible fish. And in me an old woman rises toward her day after day like a terrible fish. Now the mirror says, I'm important to her. The mirror is important to the woman. In fact, the mirror is important to all women in the world. There's no exception, not a single exception. They love the mirror more than anything else in the world. So I'm important to her. She comes and goes. She comes and goes. To me, the women haunt the mirror. They are always before the mirror. They carry a mirror with them. And when they are in home, they are always going to the mirror. So the mirror says she comes and goes. The women are enamored with, or let's say, the women are enamored of the mirror. They love the mirror more than anything else. So she comes and goes. Each morning it is her face that replaces the darkness. Now I want to give you a point here. When you turn on the light, what replaces the mirror? It is the opposite wall, not you. But here, this lady's light switches just near or above the mirror, so that when she switches on the light, it is she reflected in the mirror. It is she who replaces the darkness and not the wall. So each morning she is the first person to come and look in the mirror. The first person. So she replaces the darkness each morning without an exception. No one can come before her. In me she has drowned a young girl, and in me an old woman. So the mirror says that I'm a lake, and in me she has drowned a young girl. She has drowned all her youth, all her beauty. So all the youth and the beauty of the woman have been drowned in the lake of the mirror. She doesn't possess any youth or any beauty anymore. So she has drowned, she has lost a young girl, she has lost her youth, she has lost her youthful beauty. And in me an old woman, and now she is an old woman, the poor girl. She is an old woman and she is rising toward her day after day. Means she is moving toward her death. How? Like a terrible fish. She is moving toward her death like a terrible fish. As a fish rides when taken out of water, in the same way this woman is writhing in pain because she's been taken out of the water of her youth. And what happens? The fish rides for some time in your hands and then it dies. It breathes its last. The same is going to happen with this woman, because her life was in the mirror. Her life was in her beauty, and she's lost her beauty. She's lost the beauty of her, she's lost the water of her beauty. She's out of the water of her beauty, and now she cannot live. Like a fish cannot live out of water. Fish rides for some time, is agitated for some time in your hands, and then breathes its. Likewise, this woman is going to breathe her last, or she's going to die. She's going to kick the bucket after she has writhed for a while, and the scene is over. Let me say it again. As the fish cannot live out of water, the woman cannot live out of her youth and out of her beauty. And the fish writhes when taken out of water. In the same way, the woman is writhing because she's been deprived of her youthful beauty. And after writhing, the fish dies, and in the same way, the woman is going to die after writhing for a while in her old age. So this poem was all about the fact that the women do not accept the reality of aging. That aging is inevitable. You will inevitably get old. You can't help it. That's a truth. That's a reality that all must embrace. And with the scene, even the poem gets over. Thank you very much.